Jack here, daily music and guitar lessons. So this is Guitar, Gear and Beer, where I take a piece of gear while simultaneously reviewing a beer I've never had before. These are things I bought myself, there's no sponsorship or anything like that going on. So the gear in question are these Warman Humbucker size P90s. I'll put some cards up there to videos I've done on them for some more demos. The beer in question is called Radio Alice. I think it's an IPA. I've mainly picked this one because the label looks like a kind of something an indie band would have, and that's what kind of P90s are associated with now, is kind of like that indie sound. So yeah, let's just go for it. These pickups are super cheap. They're like £30 for both of them. So at that price point, you really can't complain. But this being the internet, we might as well complain about it, get the negative stuff out of the way, and then get into the positives. So the finish, I mean, to be fair, they do look great. The only thing I would say is the finish isn't totally amazing, which is what you'd expect. So the metal is a wee bit ragged around the edges. You wouldn't notice it unless you're peering at it though. The build quality is maybe not amazing. I had a slight issue in that one of the wires, which one was it? I think it was the earth one from the pickup has kind of just kind of broken a couple of times. I know more or less what I'm doing-ish, so I've managed to solder it back together. I've not really been in contact with the company, so I don't know what their returns policy are like on things like this. The one contact I did have with them was that I had, the first time I tried to order it, the courier had damaged the parcel beyond repair, which I thought was a pretty impressive thing to be able to do. But they immediately just refunded me, and you know I was quite happy with that, so I just ordered another set. So I don't know what is there. The bridge pickup has been totally fine. So again, when I was modifying that guitar, I might have done something stupid to the pickup without realizing it. That's a distinct possibility. But that's pretty much anything negative I have to say. And like I said, at this price, you really can't complain that much. So on with the positives. I mean, straight out the bat, this thing, it looks cool. That was one of the things that got me interested, because I wanted to modify this guitar. I thought if I put a lipstick pickup in the middle of these ones with the kind of nice chrome casing, it'll look pretty cool, and I think it does anyway. So yeah, if you're wanting that kind of Queens of the Stone Age Jack White kind of dirty, you know, that kind of dirt rock, kind of stoner rock sort of sound, these will get you there. So I'll put up a clip of that and I will open my beer. So top tip, if you don't have a bottle opener handy, just use your multi-tool, and if you don't have a multi-tool, buy one, because these things are brilliant. They come in so handy. Keep one in a gig bag. There'll be so many situations where you'll just be really glad that you bothered to buy one and bring it with you. So yeah, you might have noticed from the clip there that this pickup, the voicing is quite heavy in the low mids, so you're kind of, I don't know, maybe between sort of 300 and 600, maybe 300 and 800. So if I was using this, I'd probably scope those out a little bit with an EQ pedal, so EQ pedal in front of the amp. And I tend to do this anyway, but in an opposite way. So with the Telecaster, I'll tend to boost around 800 and kind of chop off some of the high end, because it can be a little bit shrill. Now I haven't done any kind of EQing on these next examples, just to give a more kind of honest impression of what it sounds like. But because of this kind of low end, you get a really nice kind of warmth and a lot of clarity, particularly on the top four strings. So you can kind of pick at them or strum slightly more complex chords with what's a kind of fairly gainy sound, and it's still quite clear. So what might be quite cool is if I pull up a little spectrum analysis of what the guitar looks like when it's clean, just so you can get an idea of the pickups and what they do. Yeah, so first impressions of the Radio Alice, it's pretty smooth, just tastes like an IPA. I'm going to put some in a glass as well. Sometimes that changes the taste a tiny bit. So Another thing about these pickups is they're really quite dynamic, so if you're not used to that, you might struggle a little bit. They do get pretty full on when the volume's up, and they clean up really quite nicely when the volume's rolled down. So here's a clip of that. So I did put a linear volume pot on that guitar, which might affect how it cleans up, but for me I think that worked pretty well. So back to this beer, it's really smooth, I'd say. There's a quite a fruity aftertaste to it, and it's really like next to no bitterness at all, which is quite impressive. A wee bit sharp, a wee bit zesty, but nothing too over the top. So back to the pickups, and the clean sound on these is what I think I will probably use it for the most, unless I kind of want to go for that kind of stoner rock, kind of snazzy, full-on distortion thing. As it cleans up, as I say, really quite nicely. So to that end, here is a clip without gain. I've just gone for a kind of clean sound and the volume's more or less full. So there you go, some more clean sounds there. And this beer, like I say, it's actually really, really nicely balanced. It's not particularly dry, which again, I sometimes get with citrus. You get kind of a dry taste when or even when there's like a fruity, zesty thing going on. So yeah, just a nice, kind of smooth, slightly interesting IPA. It doesn't smell like particularly different from a standard IPA, but the tastes are certainly, there's a lot of nuances and subtleties there, which is pretty nice. So, plus for the beer as well at this point in time. Yeah, so this, the P90, if you're wanting like a warm kind of 70s Les Paul through a Marshall tone on a budget, it's maybe not a bad idea. I mean, obviously it's not a high-end boutique pickup, and it's not going to sound like the best thing in the world, but there's certain things that I've come across that seems to be doing well. The aforementioned kind of stoner thing, the clean stuff, which you could probably use it for jazz in that regard as well. And like I say, this kind of, if you wanted a nice, you know, that nice warm 70s Les Paul sound, something maybe a bit like Blue Oyster Cult or something along those lines. So, it's maybe not so much for metal, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Now, in this clip, I have done some of the lower mid scooping, like I said I would do. I think I dropped it around 400, I think I dropped maybe 1 or 2 decibels, and I think I raised it somewhere around 3.5 as well. I should also mention in that clip I cut some of the mids and the settings. With the other ones I just had like their bass, mid and treble just all kind of at 5, all halfway, just to give a more honest impression of what the sound is. So there's a lot of uses you could use this for. I've kind of outlined the main ones. It actually did metal a bit more convincingly than what I thought it would. And if you've heard any of the music in the background, that was just me messing about on kind of light gain settings and playing about with the pickups. So they're pretty nice, they're cutting pretty well, kind of a rich low end. And this beer, I've powered my way through it in quite a quick amount of time, feeling a lot merrier towards the end of the video. It's really nice as well. So, I mean, this is a win-win situation for all the beers and gears involved. So if you got a spare 30 quid or a guitar you want to mod and you want like that kind of Jack White, Queens of the Stone Age kind of sound, or you want a kind of jazzy thing, I'd maybe consider picking a pair of these up. If you want to try an interesting IPA that's got some kind of fruity flavours but not overwhelming, it's a little bit dry, not too dry, it's not too hoppy. It's just, I'd say it's a nice kind of balanced, fairly mellow thing. It's not a very extreme taste at any end of the spectrum. The Radio Alice is maybe worth having a look at, and it does have a really cool a really cool label. 6.3%, maybe a little bit stronger than other ones, but it's just one bottle, so you're alright. Yeah, so this has been Guitar Gear and Beer. If you're interested in more kind of sound clips on that guitar and what I did with it, click here, hit subscribe, share, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Enable notifications with that little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.